Check in with Darren right now. Big question. 4th of July is coming up. We're worried about that fog layer coming over the coast and across San Francisco. We do like bright lights. I'd rather see fireworks, though.
Colorful clouds looks pretty on the 4th of July, too, but there's a lot.
Not the same.
There's a lot of anticipation on that show.
Sure.
We looked at that at the top of the newscast. We'll do it again coming up in the next half hour. The answer to that is 50-50 odds. The marine layer will be behaving differently by Friday than it is today. What it's doing today, by the way, this would not be a good night for fireworks going off of Pier 39 anyway, because we're already seeing the clouds build in, as we saw from the live updated satellite imagery there. But as we take a look at where the fog's going to be by the time we get to tomorrow morning, this is pretty typical stuff. This is not an overwhelming no sky July where the fog comes in and takes over for everybody. It's pretty much just filling in the immediate Golden Gate. And that's about it. There's an interesting aspect to this. Before I get to the rest of the forecast, let's get a slightly wider view and take a look at the East Bay, because even though we've got the marine layer building on, watch what happens when we visualize what relative humidity is like in the atmosphere right now. Marine layer's coming in fairly low. It's not getting inland, and we actually are looking at pretty dry hills. I know it might be difficult to make out the color scheme on here, but deep blues on there for the Diablo Range. That shows you where relative humidities tomorrow morning are going down to 10%. It's a totally different world right now, weather-wise, if you are above 1,500 feet. We all live below that pretty much. The marine layer comes in, we get humidity in the air. If the marine layer is not getting high enough to get over here, those hills just keep drying out every day. Now, we're not at a significant fire weather threat from that yet, but considering that is one element of concern when we get to the 4th of July, the Diablo Hills, people need to be careful and mindful for that part of the bay. All right, there's that kind of unique aspect to what's going on to the weather right now. Let's say goodbye to that. And let's take a look at where we'll be for daytime highs. We saw the fog's going to build in. Daytime highs tomorrow are cooler. Some places tomorrow are going to be close to 10 degrees cooler than you were today. These places, Concord, your numbers will go down. Livermore, your numbers will go down. The inland East Bay will notice this. Look at the yellows kind of filtering in there with cooler air. You won't notice any difference in the North Bay. You're going to do the same day. Mid-80s, mid to upper 80s there today, mid to upper 80s there tomorrow. San Jose, you're going to get a little bit of a drop tomorrow. Let's pick out the Santa Clara Valley, and you'll see your temperatures take a little bit of a dip tomorrow as well. You'll be in the mid-70s in San Jose. That's a theme. Friday, on the 4th of July, will actually be a bit cooler than that. So let's say goodbye to the numbers there, and let me show you what the contours will look like by the time we get to Friday. A lot more yellow just took over the map. So technically, Friday is cooler. You will have done most of the cool down tomorrow, but you'll still have, I think, for the 4th of July, these numbers are, I think, notably cool. I mean, you're going to be in the mid-70s in Livermore. You could easily be doing 100. For the 4th of July. Many 4th of Julys, you've been in the neighborhood of 100. So it's kind of nice to see these temperatures on here. So the takeaway from this is you're going to have a cool day for the holiday. Whatever you might be doing during the afternoon, the temperatures are going to be just fine. We don't have to worry about heat-related aspects here. But the question, of course, is what's that marine layer going to do when it starts to build back in? And that's where we get our 50-50 chance. There actually is an interesting setup in the atmosphere that's responsible for that. Let's say goodbye to the numbers for a second. When we look at the big picture for what's coming our way, you don't see a whole lot on regular satellite. But the same pattern we were looking at last week shows up again for Friday. You see that spin in the clouds out there? That is an area of low pressure, and it's coming right for us for the holiday. This is why we're going to cool down. This is also why the forecast for the fog in the marine layer is so complicated, because we're adding this area of low pressure that's going to be passing overhead on the holiday. That could deepen the marine layer. It could also help scour it away. If this thing goes through early enough in the day, you'll get drier winds coming in on the back end that will help clear out the marine layer a little bit. It's a toss-up. That's why we said it's a 50-50 chance. I'll show you more on that, by the way, coming up in the complete forecast. We'll take a look at the specific rundown again for what the forecast is for the 4th of July. Here's your 7-day. So you see the cooler temperatures on there for the Bay. Those numbers take a bit of a dip there on Friday, just like everywhere else, and then you'll warm up again as we head towards next week. None of these are huge swings in temperatures. The real story here is we got through all of June for the most part, and now we're heading into early July with no sign of real significant heat. For most of us, we've had a really nice summer in that way. I'll see you with more coming up in the next half hour. Ryan, back to you.
All right, thanks, Darren.